Good morning. I think this is working. I'll say good morning anyway. Good morning, good afternoon. Maybe it's working. Yes, I think it is. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist here. Thank you for joining me. Today is, have you experienced imposter syndrome? So, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, thank you. Let me know if you're here live on the call or if you're here doing a replay. And where are you from in the world? That would be fabulous. Wow. Imposter syndrome. This is a doozy. This is a doozy that comes up in everyone's world, and you cannot say that it hasn't. So my statement was, have you experienced imposter syndrome? If you say no, then I'm going to call BS on that, because it is so common in everyone and every day that we didn't even know there was a label called imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is where humans have doubt over their skills, accomplishments, their talents, anything that they have done, that they've achieved in their life, where they have that doubt. And when I say doubt, when they jump into negative mindset, actually, when I say humans, it's not just humans, it's actually probably animals as well when I think about it, as I've got two puppies in that wall, two dogs in the house. So I'm probably actually saying any human being and animals, living creature has doubt over their skills. We have a fear of being exposed as a fraud. And when I talk about fraud, it's talking about being caught out that you actually don't have those achievements, accomplishments, skills, or anything. And I'm not talking about lying on your CV and then having worry that, well, actually, it does come around being a lie as well. But I'm talking about anything that you've said or done in the past, obviously it's where you are, that you're going to be, this is not really me. The ripple effect from imposter syndrome is you can have anxiety, you can have uncomfortableness, you can have depression, you can have negative self-talk, you can have anything that will just turn this inspired mind into complete chaos and downhill. So whatever you want to label it, that's what can happen if you have imposter syndrome, that you allow filtering into your world. Before you label it imposter syndrome, what can happen is, to actually define it, you can actually say that you procrastinate. I'm not good enough to put this paper or this exam in to answer this question. I'm not good enough to do this presentation. I'm not good enough to ask for a pay rise. So I'll put it off and put it off and put it off. Or I'm not even good enough to go out and do the garden because my partner doesn't like the way I do the garden, or whatever. So you put things off. You either put things off, which sits in one category, but you also over prepare in another, which is also known as studying hard. And now there's nothing wrong with studying hard and due diligence on what you're doing if you're doing exams or tests or anything to get higher. But if you allow imposter syndrome to come in and you over prepare, if we label it over prepare, study hard, that's what can happen to you. And then you're going to realize you're going to get imposter syndrome. You're going to doubt yourself. Imposter syndrome, I'm definitely going to give you some tips on how to handle it. So I'm just giving you the pre-frame of imposter syndrome. Let me know in the comments if you actually have experienced it. That would be great. And what you did to handle it. So it comes from events, social situations. And when I say social situations, where you're in a situation maybe you don't want to be in, or you're going to see somebody. And there's the word compare is going to come in here as well. So when you're in a social situation, or a lie that you've previously told and you think you're going to get caught out in that situation. So I know I talked about a CV, a resume. They call that back then, CV. When you tell a lie on there, There's a little level of imposter syndrome in there. When you're comparing yourself to others, so you may be going to a wedding, you might be a bridesmaid at a wedding, and all the other bridesmaids that are going to be there look differently to you, have different body shapes, different color hair, or whatever it is, or talk differently, or all experienced something in their life and you haven't. So this is where your imposter syndrome comes in, and you start doubting, am I a true friend? Am I worthy of being a bridesmaid for my best friend who's a bride? Even though you've known this person right from you were 2 years old and other people only knew her in the last couple of years. You start experiencing this and you allow other people's comparisons to take over. So you start going, gosh, am I that? Am I that? Am I that? I trust that you're getting a little bit of an idea here about imposter syndrome, because it comes up everywhere we go. But the key is when it comes up, there's steps that you can have that can allow it to disappear or acknowledge it. Social media is another one. I know I talked about comparing. There's also social media, which comes in under comparing as well. When you compare yourself to somebody on social media, not a lot of people put that they've got this, and this going on in their life. They just put that whole happy family. I know there's a lot of influencers who actually do the happy family or happy or whatever it is, but behind the scenes they're not. So this is where imposter syndrome comes from. We've given you the social situation, and there is a lot about comparing. There is a lot about comparing, telling a lie of something, and it's really about your worth of what you think you're worthy of. So the key, now I'm going to give you the tips on how to deal with imposter syndrome. Number one is you must acknowledge it. You must put a label on it. You must say that's what it is. When you feel it's coming up, you can go, oh, I know what this is. This is imposter syndrome. Because you'll notice I've given you a whole background on what it's about. Go, oh, it's imposter syndrome. The moment you label it, acknowledge it, there's a little piece of your heart that goes, oh, I know what that means. So it's really important to actually acknowledge it. Acknowledge what it is. Then you can actually start dealing with it, but you must acknowledge what it is. So step one, acknowledge it. Step two is ask yourself, are you comparing yourself to somebody? Are you comparing yourself to someone who studied and they got 100% and you only got 90% and now you want to get 100%? Are you comparing yourself to somebody, their physical form, their bank balance, their relationship, their business? Are you comparing yourself to somebody? Actually, in comparing, someone said to me, you cannot compare yourself starting a business than you can to somebody who's 2 years in business, because we do a lot of comparing. Oh my gosh, maybe I'd probably be better to do another Facebook Live on comparing. But anyway, going back to that. So be aware of that. So don't compare yourself to others, acknowledge it. And if you're comparing yourself to others, social media or a friend, or, I talked about the bridesmaid, if you're comparing yourself, look at the side to them that you're not seeing. Look at the side to them that you're blind to. Because when you only see one side of people, you're not honoring them by seeing both sides. So I'm a lovely person. I'm a lovely person. But there's times I'm mean or I'm sharp or I'm straight to the point that people see me as not lovely. That's okay, because they've got to see both sides to me, because I have both sides. So if you see somebody as fabulous on social media and you just go, oh my God, they're so amazing at what they do, they talk like this, they act like this, they're doing this, have a look at the other side. If you think they're amazing, where are they not amazing on social media? Just so you can see everybody has both sides, because it's going to show up. The more you're infatuated with that positive side of them, that amazingness, the more you're going to start seeing the other side come in until it breaks that infatuation of what you're infatuated with. So once you see that they have this side and they have this side, they're even, then you can move on. You're not comparing yourself to them anymore. It just breaks that infatuation, that comparison. If you're doing something and it's maybe it's a on-stage public talk, Let's go on stage public talk. If you're going, oh, imposter syndrome, I don't know if I can do it, I'm doubting my talents, I'm doubting my skill, I'm doubting my accomplishment, ask yourself, have you done this before? Have you spoken on stage before? Have you asked for a pay rise before? Have you got out of your relationship before? Have you got out of whatever it is? Have you done this before? Not what someone else has done. It's what you, because remember we're talking about comparing. It's what you, have you done this before? So look at that and go, oh my gosh, I did do that. That was fantastic. This is what I got out of it. Look at how it actually helped those people you did it with. Look at that involvement so you can actually own that. Oh my gosh, I can speak in public, or I can do that, and people value that. Because then that just shuts that imposter syndrome self-talk that goes into your head out. Done. Also, it's really important to say, I'm worthy of this reward if you get to speak on stage, or I'm worthy of this whatever. Not comparing to somebody else and bringing that compare. So I'm worthy of being accepted to do this job, or I'm worthy of being accepted to ask for a pay rise and get the pay rise, even though my colleague has been here 10 years and they've never had a pay rise, and I've been here 6 months and I'm getting a pay rise. I'm worthy of it. Their stuff is not mine to deal with. Their stuff is not mine to deal with. You must stay in your lane, in your box, what's important to you, what's focusing on you. Be aware of everyone else, absolutely, but this is about you. This is about you. So if you get a pay rise over somebody else, you are worthy of that. Somebody sees that worth in you. So it doesn't matter if they see a lot of worth in you, it's about you seeing that worth as well. Okay? So I am worthy of this. I am worthy of this speaking on stage. I am worthy of this pay rise. I am worthy of this amazing thing that I manifested, this competition that I won or something over somebody else. I am worthy of that. You've got to make sure that what you're doing is important to you, not somebody else, not someone else. So there's an example of a family who I know, and they were all doctors, and they made their children be doctors, go study medical, because they wanted their children to be like them. Now, that's actually, did the children want to do that? Not a couple of them. A couple of them didn't, but they did it to please their parents. So there's a level of imposter syndrome coming in there. You're actually setting yourself up for failure if someone else is telling you to do this and you're doing it for someone else, because you have to work way harder instead of being inspired about what you're doing. So have a look at that. Is it what you're doing for somebody else, or what you're doing that inspires you for you? Because that somebody else, that's where the word motivation comes in. You're having to be motivated to get it done because that person wants you to do it, instead of being inspired about doing something yourself. Tick, tick, tick. I can see your brain's ticking away here. When you set yourself a goal or an aspiration or something to do, make sure they are realistic timeframes. Make sure you're putting a realistic time frame on your task that you'd like done. And when you have that realistic time frame, ensure that it's movable. Be flexible with what's happening. So do that realistic time frame. I can get this done from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, but is it reasonable? Okay, I'm still going to block out another 30 minutes afterwards just to make sure if I've got anything flowing, it's going to cover that one up. So be realistic with your time frames. And the other thing I'm going to say is reach out. If you are truly confused, dazzled, not bedazzled, dazzled with this imposter syndrome, can't shift that stuff out of your head, that self-talk that takes you from inspiration to deflation. If you can't shift it, reach out to me, please. There's nothing more frustrating for you to sit in that whirlpool going round and round and round. And I want to give you an example of imposter syndrome just before I get off this call. I entered a competition and won a motorcycle 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I just had an accident, so I was starting to get my hands, and I was still on crutches, and I won a motorcycle. And this competition for the radio station had been going for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and there was a lot of entries. And the morning of, they said, this is our last entry if you want to enter. And I heard it and I went, oh, I'm going to ring up. So I rang and I put my details in and I went in the draw and I won it. And within an hour, I'd won it. Now, I felt there because all these other people had been trying to get through for so long and hadn't got through. And I just rung once, got through, entered my details and won. So imposter syndrome really came into me then to go, am I worthy of this? When all those other people put that time and effort in there. You know, I'm still on my crutches. I still couldn't, you know, do anything with the, what do you call it, handlebars, whatever you call it, you know, like what you do on a motorbike. I couldn't do any of that stuff. So I completely felt like a fraud. And I had to do a lot of self-talk to myself to uplift myself. So I know what imposter syndrome is. I've experienced it, not just here, I've experienced it daily. So be aware of that. Just be aware of that talk that comes into your mind. If you'd like some help, reach out. That's all I'm going to say about imposter syndrome. So if you've got any questions, let me know. If you got anything that you got or didn't get out of this, let me know as well. Thank you for joining me. That's Debz Cooper, over and out, talking about imposter syndrome. I will see you next week. Thank you.